can hear people still logging in. We're going to get started in just a minute. For those of you who are online already, I like starting punctually, so. All righty, we'll go ahead and get started. Want to start out and welcome everybody for joining us today. My name is John Brenneman. I am the president here of Vacations. Thank you for joining us today as we unveil one of the most innovative cruise ships, and I shouldn't say one of, the most innovative cruise ship of easily the last decade, Norwegian Prima. We are lucky today to be joined by Samantha Ermold, who's the Regional Sales and Marketing Manager for Norwegian Cruise Lines. Our presentation today parts. In just a minute, I'm going to turn it over to Samantha, who's going to talk about Norwegian Cruise Line and talk to us about the innovative freestyle cruising concept. It's really amazing if you haven't sailed on NCL before to see how their cruises operate from the other cruise line. Next, Samantha's going to showcase the Norwegian Prima and her amazing, like Ocean Boulevard and waterfront. I mean, the images, I think everyone is going to be blown away. After that, I'm going to talk about the current promotion and a MOAA exclusive offer that we have that will save you literally thousands of dollars on your next cruise. It's Norwegian's famed 5 free offers, plus for we can offer free air and an added discount. When we conclude, we'll have a question and answer session where Samantha and I will answer all of your questions about cruising in general, about Norwegian cruise lines or freestyle cruising, and of course, any questions you have about the Norwegian Prima. But before we start, I know most of you have worked with us at MOAA Vacation before, but for those who haven't, I wanted to take just a minute and introduce us. There are almost 10,000 travel agencies in the United States. So why did MOAA select us out of all of those agencies to be their official travel agency partner? The simple answer is we provide better service than any other travel agency. In fact, we're the only travel agency in the country to provide travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. We offer the lowest rates. I mean, it's pretty simple. No one would be satisfied if they paid too much. We also negotiate special value-added with cruise lines and tour companies. With Norwegian Cruise Line, we offer a $300 onboard credit, and I'll talk about that more at the end. And with all the special savings and concierge class service we offer you, we also provide this to any of your friends and family who travel with you. So you can bring along as many people as you like, and all of them would enjoy the savings and the special offer as well. So when the webinar is over, we'll send everyone a copy of the presentation. A quick tip, if during this presentation, either myself or Samantha says something that you're interested in, make a little note of what time it is. And then when you get the presentation, since it started right at 3, it'll make it a lot easier to find that again. And as I mentioned, since all of the offers and promotional material we're talking about today is available to not only yourself, but all your friends and family as well, when you receive the video this evening, please share it with anyone you'd like to. We'd love to have them come along. And for those of you who've traveled with family and friends before, it certainly adds a lot to the experience. And not only do we do friends and family groups, we also do MOAA groups both a local and national basis. Now, during the presentation, I know I mentioned that we're going to have the Q&A at the end. Steve Matthews, who's one of our top cruise agents who actually specializes in Norwegian Cruise Line, is actually online right now. So if you have any questions, you can click on the chat feature and you can ask a question and Steve will answer them while Samantha and I are showing you the cruise in the Prima. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Samantha Ermold. Samantha.
Hi, hello everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time out to join us today. I'm very excited to talk about our new ship. And then I'm very excited just to kind of tell you a little bit more about Norwegian Cruise Line. If you haven't sailed with Norwegian Cruise Line, like John mentioned, we are a little bit different than the other cruise lines, and I think in a wonderful way. And I'll explain a little bit here how we are different. Oh, of course, my computer is being slow already, but let's start here and learn a little bit about Norwegian Cruise Line. I'm going to turn my camera off so we can focus on the presentation, and I've got a bunch of wonderful pictures that I'm going to share with you guys too. So that way you can focus all on the pictures. So I'm going to stop my video here for just a moment, and I'm going to talk about freestyle cruising. Freestyle cruising is exclusive to Norwegian Cruise Line. And what does it mean to freestyle cruise? What does that mean exactly? It just means that you're free to cruise your own way. We're not big on sticking to times. We're not big on being extremely formal. That doesn't mean you can get on board and go to one of our fancy dining rooms in your Bermuda shorts, but every night that you go to dinner is not going to have to be a formal night unless you want it to, of course. I know people like to dress up sometimes still, and I actually like to dress a little bit for dinner, not every night, but some nights. So almost anything you do is going to be acceptable, except for the Bermuda shorts in the dining room, of course. So let's talk a little bit more about what we have to offer here. And gosh, my computer's going slow. Trying to change the slides here. So some certain things that we have different with Norwegian Cruise Line, top deck innovation. So before I get into our brand new ship, I'm going to tell you about our current fleet. And some of our ships have what we call, I guess you're at the first at-sea racetracks. So we actually have racetracks on top of 2 of our ships. It's a very cool concept. We've got, for kids and adults, we've got these huge laser tag areas that you can play in. And again, not just for kids. I know adults love to do that too. So we've got those kinds of things kind of on our top deck, as well as our waterfront. Now, our waterfront is kind of like an oceanfront boardwalk, if you will, on a cruise ship. So you can stroll along. There are going to be shops, there are going to be restaurants, there are going to be bars, some entertainment sometimes, depending on where in the waterfront you are. So lots of different options. And then if you see this picture here at the bottom where this young lady is walking out, that is called the plank. What you can't see is that she is, tied. She's got a harness on and she's tied to a kind of a pole that goes out over the plank so that she's secure. But walking the plank for you thrill seekers is such an amazing thing to do. So it's really cool. You get to basically walk the plank, go over the ocean, look down. It's a great view and it's scary. So if you like, to me, it was scary. I'm a little scared of heights, but I still did it. It's a fantastic thing to do. And then we have deck parties and just all sorts of entertainment options. One of the things that I travel for specifically is going to be food. I am a foodie. I love different cuisines. I love desserts. I love craft cocktails. I love everything when it comes to food. So when you're looking for dining, there are going to be so many options with Norwegian Cruise Line. We do have specialty and complimentary dining. So our complimentary dining, of course, that's going to be included in your cruise fare. So if you wanted to go on your cruise and not spend a dime on food, and eat like a queen and a king every single night, you could do that with our complimentary dining options. We also have some specialty dining options where you pay a nominal fee to dine in one of our specialty restaurants. So, again, this is not going to be, the prices are not expensive, I don't think, for these specialty restaurants, it's not like you would go to, let's say, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and you'd pay, $150 for 2 people for dinner. The fees aren't quite that high, but we do have specialty options, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we have to offer as far as specialty goes. Regarding our dining that is included, these 4 pictures here are some different dining rooms across our fleet. So these are just, different, showcasing different what our dining rooms will look like on our different ships. And they're very beautiful. Again, you do have to mind your dress in these rooms, of course, or in these dining rooms, of course, but it's nothing formal. It's just, you can't, you just walked right off the out of the pool deck and you're just coming in to eat. So we do have a slight dress code in those areas. And then we also have, again, our specialty restaurants that I mentioned. Cagney Steakhouse is one of our most popular. If you want to get that steak, it's a fantastic place to go. Le Bistro is a French restaurant. Again, all of the food is simply delectable in all of these restaurants. La Cucina Waterfront, which is our Mexican restaurant, our Italian restaurant, and then Teppanyaki, which is a kind of an Asian flair, Japanese type of restaurant. So all very delicious. And this is just, a small portion of what we have to offer as far as dining goes. We have a lot more specialty restaurants available. I always say that if you're not on at least 7 nights on a cruise, you're not even going to be able to touch all of the options that are available to you when it comes to dining and to beverages and even entertainment for that matter. We've got so many different options. It used to be with cruising, you've got an early show and a late show as far as entertainment goes, and you've got an early dining and a late dining. And not anymore, especially with Norwegian Cruise Line. There's going to be definitely shows on board, comedians, Broadway style shows, different musicians and different venues just playing music. You can grab a drink or grab a snack and watch that. So lots of options as far as entertainment. And then dining, there's so much to do and so much to offer. And every night can be a little bit different if you wanted to. These options here, of course, my children, their favorite place on the ship is Starbucks. I think that I've paid more to Starbucks than I did for my college education. But we do have Starbucks on board for those that love it. Coco's, which is where our chocolate lovers unite. So it's a great place where you can get some chocolate drinks, chocolate snacks. It's really, really delicious. Los Lobos, this is another one of our specialty restaurants. So this is our contemporary Mexican restaurant. And then Q Texas Smokehouse. So that brings authentic barbecue to our ships in an urban setting. It's a really fun and delicious way to experience barbecue on our cruise ship. The waterfront. So I did mention the waterfront, and this is what I was talking about. It's a 1/4 mile oceanfront promenade, and you're going to have different shops. You'll see a restaurant here, and again, you can walk the perimeter of it, and it's really cool. It makes you feel like you're kind of just strolling along, a quaint little city with lots of options, but you're on the ocean. And it's just a really cool place to kind of gather and to take a walk and see what's around. Regarding our entertainment, we really do have award-winning entertainment. Like I said, you've got your standard comedians that are hilarious. You've got your, musicians that are playing in one of the bars, and you can watch that. But our Broadway style entertainment is really something to be seen. We've got a lot of different shows. Kinky Boots, here's a picture from that. Some of the offerings. It's going to be a little bit different on every ship. So you definitely can find out what, a little bit closer into your sailing. Usually you can find out what entertainment options as far as the big productions are going to be on the ship. But lots of really great entertainment. You can see here, Legally Blonde is really popular. As I mentioned, Kinky Boots. I love Rock of Ages. So it's just a really cool, just such wonderful entertainers that we hire. I mean, they are just the cream of the crop when it comes to performers. Now that you have an idea a little bit about who Norwegian Cruise Line is and why we're a little bit different and what we have to offer, I'm going to tell you about our brand new ship. This is a rendering of our brand new ship, the Norwegian Prima. She is gorgeous. I am super excited to see her when she makes her inaugural debut, which will be in October of 2022. And I want to tell you a little bit more about her, and I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share a quick video. And this won't have sound, but that's not the point. I just want you to see. It's going to show you different features that the ship is going to have that I'll tell you a little bit more about. But I'm going to start this. This is our Norwegian Prima. We are just so excited. I mean, look at those beautiful infinity pools along the side of the ship and along the back of the ship. I really love them. And that one you're looking at right now, that particular infinity pool, it is almost at sea level. So it really makes you feel like you're just right there in the ocean, on the ocean. It's the coolest. I cannot wait to see it. Again, we have the Haven Suites on top, which I'll tell you more about. If you like a touch of luxury, that's definitely for you. Here's a picture of one of our Haven Suites. They're great for families. They're great for couples or groups traveling together. So a whole lot of different options as far as the staterooms are going to go. I always like to say that we have something for everybody. So even if you're traveling with a group or you're traveling with your family, let's say, you're going to have an option for, inside staterooms, ocean view staterooms that are going to be a little bit more affordable. And then you're going to have, like, let's say you like a touch of luxury, but you're taking your kids and that's not really in their price point. We have staterooms then for everybody. So there's something for everybody. There's lots of different levels and lots of different price points when it comes to our cabins. Okay, so that's one good thing to remember when you're looking at this. She is our most in-demand ship ever. When we opened the itineraries for sale in May for the Norwegian Prima, she broke all the records that we had previously set for our most recent ship, the Bliss, that came out before her. So she broke all those records and she's definitely in demand. And to be honest, cruising in general is in demand. I think I've heard the term revenge travel quite a bit lately, and people are just like, we've been stuck inside, we've been stuck in our own states, we're ready to travel. So people are revenge traveling, if you will. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Prima. I'm going to go to this here. This is just, some of the stats. She, again, she'll be finished. She's being currently built in 2022. One thing to note about this ship, she has got the same tonnage. So she is as large as one of our ships that holds 4,200 people, like the Bliss, the Norwegian Bliss. However, she only holds 3,200 people. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot more space to spread out. If we've learned anything in this past year and a half during the pandemic, we've learned that we need our personal space. We're not going to pack them in there like sardines. So we're kind of moving away from that, which is great. Not that if you go on the Bliss, you're going to be packed in like a sardine. But what I'm saying is this new ship, she's way more spread out. So she's got the same amount of area, but 1,000 less passengers. So we're really excited about that. Some of the things that, kind of an evolution in our brand, she's got wide open spaces and of course, service that puts the guest first. I mean, we are known for impeccable service, thoughtful design, and again, a variety of experiences, which I will tell you a little bit about here. So some of the firsts for NCL, which is Norwegian Cruise Line, some of the firsts for us with this new ship is the food hall. I will show you some pictures and tell you a little bit more about the food hall, as well as the glass bridges. Again, this is another thing for a thrill seeker. I don't know if I'm going to get my husband on these glass bridges because he really doesn't like heights. However, I'm going to be all over them because they are so cool. Infinity pools, like you saw in the videos, I mean, they are just beautiful. And as I mentioned, a couple of them on the starboard side are actually very close to sea level. And we've got a beautiful outdoor sculpture garden for the first time on one of our ships with some really cool contemporary art. And then moving on a little bit here to tell you about Ocean Boulevard. So I mentioned in my early part of my presentation about the waterfront, which was that promenade where you can walk around. It's got the shops, it's got restaurants, entertainment. Ocean Boulevard is basically an amped up version of the waterfront. If you see these two side-by-side comparisons, it shows you the waterfront, which is very cool, and how it wraps around the back of the ship to both sides. But the Ocean Boulevard wraps all the way around the ship, and you've got much more space. Again, it's all about space. It's all about being able to spread out. It's all about having your own personal space and having more room to gather when you don't want your personal space, having more room to get together and gather. So Ocean Boulevard is very cool. It's going to be a great place to just, again, dining. It's got dining, outdoor bars, and outdoor seating, which both the waterfront and Ocean Boulevard have those things. But as I mentioned, Ocean Boulevard wraps around the entire deck, the expansive pool decks, which you can see with the infinity here, premium outdoor lounges, glass bridges over the ocean. I'll show you a picture of that soon because that's one of my favorite new features. And then the outdoor sculpture garden. As I mentioned, with the areas that are located very close to the waterline, the infinity pools on either side of the ship, it's not just the starboard, I'm sorry. We've got one port and one starboard, that the infinity pools right here. Again, it looks like you're just gonna swim right out from that pool into the ocean. So it's really beautiful and really exciting. Ocean Walk, I'm gonna show you the glass bridges here. If you look to the right, those are the glass bridges. You are 50 feet above the waterline. It's made completely out of glass. If you look at the squares in the picture on the left, it tells you exactly where those are on the Ocean Walk. So very cool. It's a great place for, if your kids, I can picture my kids Instagramming from this spot. I know we're going to see it all over the place. So it's really cool. I'm excited about that. And then of course the concourse. This is our first outdoor sculpture garden. Again, another great photo opportunity, a great place to stroll and walk around, enjoy a beverage, and look at some beautiful art while you are doing that. Indulge Food Hall. So Indulge Food Hall is in the back of the ship, and it's on deck 8, and it's really kind of like an outdoor food court, but I don't want to say fancy again, because we're not stuffy, even though we are premium. It's just really nice, gorgeous places to go, get tapas, get some food, get a snack, have a drink. So it's really kind of just a gathering place. It's called a food hall. It's like a food court, but it's nicer, and it's outdoor, which is amazing. So this is right on Ocean Boulevard, and it's going to be at the back of the ship. So just looking here, they've got in the food hall, they've got our Q Texas Smokehouse where you can get that delicious barbecue. They're going to have other eateries, obviously, they're going to be around. They've got loungers. They've got beautiful fire pits. So depending on, what itinerary she's on, these fire pits might be just perfect for the weather if it's, a little bit cooler where you are. So really beautiful options as far as food and drinks and just scenery is concerned. We've got the garden, we've got a Starbucks there and a Coco's that I mentioned. So, and then of course a noodles restaurant. Again, these are just a lot of different options. And I'm going to mention my kids one more time because they're just kind of a good example of when I take them. We have 4 daughters. They're teenagers, and they all seem to want something different. If we decide to go to dinner one night, there's arguments that, this one wants to go here, this one wants to go here. They don't like this. That's what I love about these types of places at Indulge Food Hall. We spread out, we divide and conquer if we want to. There's an option for everybody. So it's great. Lots of different kind of artisan mini restaurant and food truck offerings, which is great. So it's a really cool location. And then we've got the local bar and grill. As you can see, it's very casual, but it's still very chic. They've got those beautiful hanging chairs, and everything is to me, everything just looks like art. I mean, it's the colors, the mosaic tile, everything just looks so beautiful. And again, I can't wait to see her in person. Again, there's another couple pictures of our Indulge Food Hall. Some of the premium restaurants would be our Los Lobos, which is our Mexican restaurant. These are all going to be found on Ocean Boulevard. And then Fine Dining, which is Onda by Scarpetta. So that's one of our fine dining restaurants. Seafood, they do have some steak offerings there as well. Wonderful. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our accommodations now. And I want to start with the top, and we'll work our way down from there. The top meaning the Haven, which are our most premium suites. The Haven, it's kind of giving you, if you have sailed with NCL or you're a fan of NCL, you'll probably know, or you've been on multiple ships of ours, you'll know that the Haven is normally midship or forward, but it's a little bit different here. We've put the Haven on the back of the ship. And personally, the back of the ship is my favorite place on the ship. I really love, if you look out and get to see that wake, and it's just beautiful. Here's a picture of the infinity pool that is exclusive to Haven guests. So if you choose to stay in a Haven suite, you're going to have areas that are designated just to Haven suite guests. So if I'm staying in a balcony cabin or an ocean view cabin, I can't just come up and hang in this pool. This is a Haven pool. So they have their own designated private areas, which is really cool. The Haven comes with a couple different things that are very luxurious and just put that extra touch of service. Again, the personalized service. You're going to have a butler and concierge and a team of staff that's focused just on Haven guests. They're going to have exclusive benefits like platinum key card guarantees, priority embarkation and disembarkation. So if you haven't cruised before, that means, you can get on and off the ship and you don't have to wait in the lines, and you get priority, which means you get to go first off or on the ship, which is great. Delicious extras such as, gourmet treats that are delivered to your suites each evening. You can mingle with each other, as I mentioned, in the Haven guest areas, such as our cocktail area. We've got private restaurants, private lounges, and then, of course, the thoughtful touches of luxury, like our Bliss Collection pillow top mattress and fine linens. And the bathrobe is just incredible. It's just everything is well thought of, and it's really just a higher level of service. All of the service on our ship is fantastic, but if you want for nothing, you book a Haven. The public areas and suites are, again, the Haven Sun Deck, and the spa restaurant and the lounge and bar, like I mentioned. All suites are within walking distance of private Haven elevators, just for Haven guests. On the Prima, we have 107 suites available. And if you look at this picture here on the bottom of the screen, this is one of our suites that feature a huge balcony. That is actually the balcony for this stateroom. And it's got an outdoor hot tub overlooking the ship's aft, which is the rear of the ship. Incredible, right? I mean, look at that hot tub. That's private. That's just for that room. So lots of really luxurious and, just wonderful choices when it comes to the Haven. Here are some pictures of the inside of some of the Haven suites. There are different kinds of, Haven suites. We've got, that have up to 3 bedrooms. We've got, 1 bedroom suites. So lots of different options to accommodate families, or, again, a lot of people that get the Haven suites, they might get a 2 or 3 bedroom, but that's just to entertain. Let's say they're going with a group or with their family. The Haven is a great place to gather and entertain, which is really nice too. And enjoy the suite life. So we've got a variety of different suites that are not Haven suites. I am actually going to Greece on the Norwegian Jade, which in October, and I'm super excited. I'm actually staying in one of these club balcony suites. So we've got suites that are not Haven, but they're just larger. They can accommodate more people, some of them. And then they also get the suite features, like they have concierge service and just some other features that, our more standard rooms do not come with, that are not suites. So we have those. We have balconies, of course. If you can fit it into your budget, I always recommend a balcony. I really just love being able to go out there and have our coffee on the deck, on our balcony, either in the morning or the evening or whenever. It's just a nice place to go and relax and see the sights when you have your own private space to do that, which is great. Again, if you get an inside cabin, are you going to have a bad time? Absolutely not. All of our cabins are very nice. And I promise that if it's not in your budget to do a balcony or a suite, you're going to have an amazing time no matter what kind of cabin you get. A lot of people say, well, don't we just sleep in our cabin and get ready in our cabin? And that is true. It just depends on what kind of traveler you are. And, do you want that balcony for your own self? And do you want an ocean view room where you can see, the actual ocean through your window? So lots of different options. Ocean view, we've got inside cabins, of course, which we try and keep them filled with natural light, which is great. What I do love about an inside cabin is when I sleep, I really like the dark. And when you turn those lights off, it's really dark. So it's nice, unless you have your night light on, of course, we do have those. But I really do kind of like that about the inside cabins, is that option to have it be completely dark, which is nice. And then I also want to mention for the solo travelers, if you're traveling as a single, or there's something you want to do and maybe your spouse doesn't want to do it, but you're like, look, I'm going, I want to go on this cruise. We've got our studio rooms. These are great. These are for single occupants, and you're going to pay a little bit less. I know that some of you may not know that with cruising, our goal is to have 2 in a room, right? With standard cruising, the goal is to have 2 in a room. If you are one person in a room that sleeps 2 people, you're going to pay a surcharge. You're basically going to pay more for it, almost the same as you would pay, if there were 2 people in there, but there's only 1. So these studios are great because the price is right. And also, one thing I love about the studio suites is, if you are a single, or if you are traveling solo and you want to meet up with other people who are also traveling as a single, maybe to join up with somebody to do a shore excursion, maybe to make a love connection, I don't know. You can go to the studio lounge, which is specifically for studio guests. So this lounge is going to be for all of the studio guests, and it's a nice way to go connect. Maybe you want to meet up with somebody and, again, just do an excursion the next day. So it's a really cool way to kind of mingle with the other people that are traveling solo if you're interested in doing something like that. So those are the accommodations. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her destinations, just to kind of give you an idea of some of the things she's going to be doing. She's going to be doing a wonderful Northern Europe itinerary. People are really excited about this itinerary. It's from Amsterdam and Copenhagen. We've got 2 different options. So the Northern Europe, and then of course we've got one that also includes Iceland. So that itinerary is also really popular. She's going to do a 12-day transatlantic. She's also going to do a Bermuda cruise. Bermuda, if you haven't been, it's such a cool island, and it's really kind of not like anything else. A lot of these islands, a lot of these, ports that we go to, a lot of them there's a lot of poverty, and I feel Bermuda is really not kind of like that. And it's really just a beautiful island with a lot less poverty. It's something to see if you haven't. We've got Southern Caribbean and Western Caribbean itineraries. And also we are now going to be leaving from Galveston, Texas. This is a first for Norwegian Cruise Line. So we're really excited about that. So we're going to be leaving from Galveston. And she's also going to do, as I mentioned, it depends on the season. She's going to be doing Caribbean, Bermuda, and then of course, the cruise that I told you about, which is the Iceland cruise. There's a 10, 11, and 14-day Iceland cruise, and it either leaves from New York, Reykjavik, or Southampton. And here's a little map that kind of shows you this particular one is a transatlantic that leaves from New York, stops in Halifax and Sydney, of course, and then goes over to Iceland and visits 3 different ports in Iceland. So it's a very cool it's a very cool cruise, and stays the night actually in Iceland. So nights in Reykjavik, I'm sorry. She does overnight there, which is nice too, because it's such a cool place to see. And if you ask me, especially with Iceland can be pretty pricey, and most of the things you want to see are coastal. So I think a cruise is a really great option when it comes to seeing Iceland, because you can kind of just peruse around the perimeter of Iceland and hit all the spots that are really popular. And then of course, I'm going to move on here and let John tell you guys a little bit more. Oops. I can. John, do you want me to talk about our promo?
Yes, thank you, Samantha. I think I speak for everyone when I just say, wow.
Yeah.
I've been, in the travel business for 35 years now, and I've been over 120 different cruises, and none of them compare to Prima. I can't wait to sail.
Me too.
I have one thing about balcony staterooms. I know sometimes people are trying to decide whether or not they want one. One of the things I always mention to people is consider the itinerary. With itineraries like Alaska, where you're going to be, cruising glacier, Panama Canal when you're going through locks, it is such a luxury to be able to view that from your own stateroom rather than having to fight the crowds. And for those coffee drinkers out there, there's nothing that really tops starting out each morning out on your own private balcony with a cappuccino and a scone. It's just such a luxury that you normally don't get at home. I know we certainly don't get it in the wintertime here in Kansas, where I'm from. Real quick, before we get into the promotion, a quick aside for, I know a number of people came in a little bit late. We are going to send everybody a copy of this presentation via email a little bit later this evening as soon as it downloads and it's available. So you can actually go back and see anything you might have missed. I don't know about everyone. It might be cut off a little bit on some people's on the right-hand side, but this is the current promotion that Norwegian Cruise Line has available. It does end on July 30th. So there in the middle of the screen, you see their 5 offers, which include the free open bar. The open bar is for spirits, cocktails, wine by the glass, bottled or draft beer. Any of those that are priced $15 or less are included. It includes fountain sodas, juice, non-alcoholic beer. If you want bottled wine an evening or two, or champagne for a special occasion, you also get 20% off of all wines and sparkling wines. Specialty dining. Samantha just went through and showed you just a snapshot of some of the dining options aboard as part of freestyle cruising on all of their ships. So this gives you the opportunity, no matter the length of the sailing you go on, to at least experience specialty dining one evening for free. It does vary the number of nights that you receive based upon the length of your cruise. So on the shorter cruises, like 3 to 5 nights, you receive specialty dining one night for free. Of course, you can go as many nights as you want, but the promotion is 1 night free. Up until sailings that are 15 nights or more, it includes 5 nights of free specialty dining. One quick note on the open bar and the specialty dining. While it includes the alcohol and the dining, it does not include gratuities. So there is a separate charge for the gratuity, both for your drinks and then for the wait staff on the dining. Shore excursions, simple enough. That's a $50 shore excursion for every port of call that you visit. So not so much based on the number of nights of the cruise, but how many nights that cruise is in port. So you could be on, a transatlantic cruise that's 15 nights long that may only have 4 nights in port. And so you'll receive 4 shore excursion credits. Whereas if you're on a 7-night cruise that has 6 days in port, you'd receive 6 shore excursions. I think that kind of self-explanatory. Wi-Fi. You've got to have free Wi-Fi so you can share pictures of the great time you're having with everyone else who's stuck. Once again, this is based on the length of the cruise. Starts at 100 minutes for the shorter cruises, up to 500 minutes for the longer cruises. And then the free extra guests. This is your opportunity to bring someone along in your stateroom. So this would be like a triple or quad occupancy. So for a 3rd or 4th person in your stateroom. On some select sailings, they can actually join for free. This is a great opportunity to bring along your favorite grandson or granddaughter on the cruise with you. And then they're actually in the stateroom. As I said, it's on select sailings, so no cost that. That's actually kind of the standard NCL promotion. They've actually run this before. A number of you might have seen it before. A lot of you have probably booked on this promotion before. So what makes this July 30th promotion special are the 2 things that surround it. The first is the free air. You can read the slide. It's basically free air for the second guest. So you book your cruise and you book your air, and let's say the air is $500 per person. The first person in the stateroom pays. The second person, their air is free. So in effect, it's a 50% discount off air, since one person goes free and one person pays full fare. And then the one on the right, the one on the left that may be blocked by the little pop-up windows is an additional 30% off the cruise fare. So really everyone's homework this evening is, because I mentioned that you're going to receive a copy of this video. So we're going to send everybody an email tonight with a copy of this video. When you get that email by tonight, hopefully you can determine where you want to go and when you want to go. And then Steve Matthews, who's on this and may have been answering questions during the presentation, I don't know if he got any, Steve's going to get back in touch with everybody and see where and when you want to go. My advice would be to figure out something and book something before July 3rd. You can always cancel and get 100% refund as long as you cancel before final payment, but that way you can lock in this deal because, you know, as I mentioned, I've been doing this for 35 years, and I think this 5 free offers promotion that NCL had, they've run it for several years now. But the free air and the additional 30% off is the thing that you need to jump on to take advantage of before July 30th. So anyway, that's that promotion, and it's available to you and anybody who travels with you. And then Samantha, if you can go to the next slide. This is, I mentioned earlier that one of the things that we offer, in addition to the satisfaction guarantee and the lowest prices, is value-added amenities. And then what this grid shows, and I'll kind of go through it in a second, is what the up to $300 onboard credit offer we have with NCL is. And I actually looked this morning and did a quick count. There's actually almost 600 departures that this applies to. So it's going to be, you know, all their ships, all their destinations. And it's not only for this year in 2022, there's 23 departures as well, depending on how far off you're looking to book this cruise. So, and real quick, this applies to you. And we talked about this before. Any of your friends and family who travel with you would also get this onboard credit. So we'll just start in the top corner. If you're in an ocean view stateroom and the length of your cruise is 7 nights or less, you get a $25 onboard credit. If you're in an ocean view stateroom and it's 8 nights or longer, it's doubled to a $50 onboard credit. And then you can go down and say, you know, it goes up for a balcony. For those who aren't familiar, a club balcony suite is what they used to call the mini suites, because I know a number of people probably have sailed in a mini suite before. And then the Haven, which everybody needs to try at least once for that, you know, cruise of a lifetime experience. In the suites, you can see what they offer. So the first 2 columns are based upon the length of the cruise. Now, they do have a special promotion for Europe, or we have a special offer for Europe that we negotiated with NCL, is what I guess we should say, where you can see for Europe, regardless of the length of the cruise, with an ocean view stateroom, you'd receive a $75 onboard credit, all the way up to a $300 onboard credit if you are in a suite or Haven cruise. So that's kind of the offer. As I mentioned, there's almost 600 cruises it's available on. It is combinable with the promotion we just went through, which was the 5 free with the free air for the second passenger and the additional 30% off. So you package all that together, and I'm sure you'll agree, it's just an unprecedented offer. And particularly if you're looking at going, you know, in 2022, either the inaugural voyage or one of the voyages after that on the Prima. Samantha, how popular that ship is and how quickly it's filling up. So now is your chance to go on that unbelievable innovative ship and get the best deal out there. So if you want to just go to the final slide, we're going to do the Q&A. Before we do the Q&A, I did want to just touch real quick on the, Samantha, can you go to the, yeah, there you go. So that shows our contact information. If you have any questions, get hold of us before you get that email. So before we start the Q&A, I just wanted to take a second and talk about the onboard COVID protocols. As I've said in every webinar we've done this year, and we've done a number of them, and you can actually go to YouTube. We have a whole YouTube page if you want to see any of the other webinars we've done. But what I've said in all of these is the safety of MOAA members is our primary concern. So we take every precaution and ensure that every precaution is being taken. This includes, you know, and the cruise lines themselves have done a number of things. They've installed new UV fresh air ventilation systems, the cleaning protocols and the disinfecting protocols that they have on board. And even though we're still a year away from Prima's maiden voyage, and we know over time, I mean, just a few months ago, nobody was sailing, and now everybody is resuming sailing, that these things are improving. And by the time Prima's inaugural cruise launches a year from now, we expect that, you know, we'll be back to normal. And by normal, I guess I should say a new normal. And what I mean by a new normal is all the behind the scenes changes will still be in place. So the new ventilation systems they put in, the cleaning protocols, and all of those types of things, you know, the change in how buffets are done, where it's now a touchless buffet, where when you go through the buffet, you still select what you want, but somebody's actually serving that to you. All of those will still be in place. For those of you who are considering going on an NCL cruise before the Prima, you know, we'd ask that you ask us, call and ask Steve what the protocols are, because a lot of that's going to depend on when you go and where you go. But NCL is going to start sailing again in 10 days when they resume in Europe. And in August, in early August, they're starting up Alaska and Caribbean again. And speaking of Alaska, our own Steve Matthews, who you're all going to speak to, is actually on the Norwegian Encore on August 2nd. So he's actually going on, I think, the very first Alaska cruise that they're having. So he'll actually experience cruising kind of, let's say, in this new era. But anyway, the COVID protocols will depend a lot on when and where you're going. But right now, the protocol is, because a lot of times people want to know what's being done right now, and I think a lot of you probably know this, is when cruising resumes, is they're going to require everyone to be vaccinated. That is the short-term solution, which will change as things continue to open up. Real quick, before we get into the Q&A, you are going to receive a survey at the conclusion of this presentation. It may have popped up already on screen. I know it did on. We've done a number of these presentations. We certainly ask if you take just a minute and fill that out. It really helps us out to improve these as we go forward. I know we'll continue to do them. We've already have a couple scheduled for next month. And so we'd love to have your feedback. So with that all said and done, let's get into the Q&A. Samantha, do you have a question from the chat that someone has, or does somebody have a question that they would like to ask?
Let's see here. What is the status of NCL requiring a COVID vaccination? Oh, did you just answer that? Yeah.
I think I just answered that.
Yep.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, the current COVID code, if you wanted to sail in August, or if you wanted to go to Europe in 10 days, right when they're starting up again, they were going to require everyone to be vaccinated. That will change eventually, of course. We just don't know when it is. And of course, if you're looking at the Prima, which is over a year off, we have a number of large MOAA groups set for next year, starting in April. And on all of those, it's kind of, we can tell you what it is right now, but what it will be a year from now, we don't know. But as I said, you can certainly book a cruise now, take advantage of this special offer. And then, when final payment is due, typically 60, 90 days prior to departure, we can certainly tell you what the protocols are, and then you can make the decision at that time if you'd still like to go. We do know most MOAA members are vaccinated. We actually have a cruise that is departing on the Mississippi River this Saturday. And on that cruise, everyone's vaccinated and everyone's pretty excited. So it's not just the people. When we talk about the vaccination requirement, it's not just guests, it's the crew on board as well. Any other questions that you have, Samantha?
Not that anybody has put in the chat box yet. Does anyone have one they would like to ask?
We must have done a wonderful job.
All right. Are there special COVID requirements for Hawaii? So currently we're not sailing in Hawaii yet. So we don't know what the requirements are going to be until we have our, kind of our plan of action back. She's scheduled right now, the Pride of America, which is our ship in Hawaii. She is scheduled to come back into service on November 27th. And as we get closer to that date, we will have more information. So I'm sorry, I can't help you with that right now. And regarding the buffet, somebody asked, what about the buffet? Do they dish up your food? Yes, our buffets are going to be service only, but we're going to have buffets. So you basically just, behind the glass, tell them what you want and they'll dish it up for you.
I think the term that I've seen bantered about, and I know I mentioned this a second ago, is they call it touchless buffets. And there's other cruise lines. Holland America, for example, used to do that with their buffets even before COVID. So you go through the line. It actually speeds things up. I know it's counterintuitive, but I think we've all been around that person who just goes through the buffet so slow. So it's interesting, having sailed on Holland America where they were doing this pre-COVID, is it actually speeds things up. So you just go through and somebody through each little section will have your plate and they go by and you just tell them what you want. If there's a specific piece of meatloaf or steak or whatever it is that you want, you just tell them, sort of like if you go to a grocery store and you're picking out salmon fillets and you say you want this one and this one. So you just go down the line, they do the plate for you, hand it to the next person, you go through the buffet, and at the very end, they give you your plate. So actually, it's more service oriented, so you don't have to serve yourself. And as I said, it goes much quicker. So no waiting in line at the buffets any longer. What else?
Somebody did ask about another COVID question. So if somebody recovered from COVID and has the antibodies, and they said vaccine not needed, you pretty much can't travel with NCL. Europe allows a negative test. So that is correct. We've got our own rule. And for right now, we feel that the safest way for us to resume service is for right now, 100% vaccination. So you have to be fully vaccinated. I actually had COVID in January myself, and I got the vaccine in April. So it's one of those things that for right now, you do have to be 100% vaccinated. So that's correct.
And I understand there are some people who don't want to be vaccinated or can't be vaccinated.
Sure.
In circumstances, my advice would be reach out to Steve. It's Steve at MOAA, MOAA, VAC, short for vacation, so VAC.com. But as I said, everybody will you should have received an email before this presentation, but you'll receive another one tonight with a copy of the presentation. I would reach out to Steve and tell Steve basically what your concerns are and what you'd like to do, and Steve can get back with your options. We actually can look up and tell you. I know sometimes people, have questions about, I'm looking to go to Hungary or Portugal or whatever the country is. Actually kind of give you an answer country by country of where you're looking to go to. And so even if you're looking to do an NCL Mediterranean cruise, I know a lot of you have served in the European theater. I mean, we do so many pre's and posts on European and Asian and those types of trips because people want to go back to bases or cities or whatever where they have friends or just to revisit places. So even if you're looking to do, a Mediterranean cruise, but you have a question because you want to go to, Budapest and you want to go to Berlin, as like a pre and post. You can certainly ask Steve. He has all of that information at his fingertips, and he can come back and tell you what the protocols are in every European country as of today. But what I want to make sure we let everybody know is that's as of today. If we're looking at Prima, sorry, my computer was just freaking on me. If we're looking at the Prima, we're talking a year from now. So we certainly can't tell you what they will be a year from now, but we can tell you that things have been opening up more and more all the time. Just looking at Europe with people who contact us on Europe, where, we have like a map that's where, 2 months ago, the whole map was gray. You couldn't go everywhere. And now most of the map is green where nothing's required. No testing, no negative tests, no vaccination, no nothing. And the rest of it is mostly yellow, which means a test or a vaccine or a antibody is required. So take advantage of us. As I mentioned, we pride ourselves on the level of service we provide. So just get back with us and let us know. We're here to help. What else we got?
Somebody asked, how are gratuities handled? Is it part of the fare? And the answer to that is the gratuities are an extra fee, and that will be, you can either prepay it or you can pay it when you're on board. So that's up to you. Someone else asked, where can I get prices? So of course you can get that from John or Steve or anyone at Brenco. I do recommend, there's nothing, I always say the internet is for looking and travel agents are for booking. So there's nothing wrong with going to ncl.com and just looking and seeing, maybe like getting an idea of what you want, checking out the price, just so you know what the price point is before you call your agent. But just be aware that, if you do book online, you're not going to get that Travel Saver shipboard credit. You're not getting a better deal booking online. So I always stress, especially during these times when there's so many different rules depending on where you're at or where you're traveling to, this is a more important time than ever to book with the travel agent. So I think they've really proved their value during this pandemic. Let's see. The Haven is the $15 drink price if you order something. Okay, so we do have different drink packages. So when you're on board, you can, or when you get your confirmation number, you can go online into ncl.com where you're creating your account to kind of look at your excursions and look at things that are available to you, spa services and whatnot. You can look at the different drink packages and you can upgrade your drink package if you if you want something different than the one that comes with it, to where you can have drinks that are over $15. Yeah, but you do not pay the difference. Basically, you pay for the whole drink. If it's over $15, you don't. So if it's like $17, you don't pay $2, you pay the full $15. So if you see a lot of drinks that you like that are over the $15 limit, which a lot of them really are under that, which is great, but some aren't. And the ones that aren't, you can just upgrade your drink package if that is something you're interested in doing. And that's all the questions I have for now that I see. John, you're on mute.
Off mute now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I wanted to add something real quick because I know we have a lot of MOAA members that are wine aficionados. They do have like the wine package. And, I mentioned 20% off of the bottled wine. You also would get 20% off of that, like if you got like a wine package. So when you go online, since you already have the open bar card, you get 20% off the packages as well. So is it for questions?
Looks like it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody on behalf of myself and everyone here at MOAA Vacations, and on behalf of Samantha and everybody at Norwegian Cruise Line for joining us today. As I said, you'll receive a copy of this presentation tonight. Steve will be in contact with everybody to see how we can assist. We would like to be your travel agent. We're the official travel agency for MOAA, so please think of us the next time you travel for you and your friends and family. Samantha?
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your attention and listening to me clamor on about this brand new ship that we have. We're excited.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.